So you've just bought yourself a brand new television and you want to mount it on the wall. And the hallmark of any professional job is not to have loads of cables dangling down and spoiling the appearance. Now you can put surface run conduit down the wall and tuck your cables inside there, but the professionals try and do it a better way. If you've got the right type of wall, you can very often run the cables down behind the wall surface. Now if you've got a stud wall which is plasterboard mounted on timber studs, you'll get in a timber frame house, and on internal walls you can possibly run your cables down between the studs and hide them away. The other alternative is that on walls these days you very often get what they call dot and dab. Now this is where they stick the plasterboard onto the blockwork behind, and that leaves a gap behind the wall, and that gap is very useful because with the right equipment you can run your cables straight down behind. When I say the right equipment, what I mean is a set of cable rods from Super Rod. Now this is a handy little polymer set which is absolutely ideal for doing these small jobs where you're just trying to fish cables down behind very narrow voids. In the set is a selection of different rods, all different colours, depending on their flexibility. You've got round rods and you've also got flat rods. If the void is very small indeed and you're trying to get through a tight space, then these flat, flexible rods are absolutely ideal. And not only have you got the rods, but you've got a selection of different hooks and attachments to allow you to attach the cables or whatever you're trying to pull through directly to the end of the rods, and these simply screw on. The rods screw together and away you go. Apart from those rods, there's very little else you need to complete this job. So let's get going. Although we've got a whole selection of hooks and attachments to grab the cable through, what we've got to be sure of is that the end of this HDMI lead, which has got gold plated contacts, is fully protected against any dust or debris, because the last thing you want is any of those pins inside the contacts being bent around or filled with dirt. So we put a nice slimline arrangement there just to make sure that we pull the cable through without causing any damage to the cable. So now I've got the cable in, I've got the HDMI lead ready to go. I want to put the bracket on the wall. Now don't skimp on this bit because you don't want your new television falling off the wall, especially if you've got children. You don't want them swinging on the bracket, pulling the whole thing down. So make a really secure fixing. If it's a plasterboard wall, look for that wooden stud, try and fix to that. If it's a masonry wall like this, you've got the plasterboard, there's a hollow behind that, but behind that it's good solid block work, and the bracket I've chosen does come with the fixings, the plugs and the very large screws, so it should be as safe as houses.